2025 board meeting of DASNY. In the Manhattan office are Jerry, Beryl, Liz, and myself, along with Robert and Ricardo. We see all the action is in Albany today, so we have a fairly short agenda. I know that we have a couple of financing transactions as well as reports of committee. So let's get into. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get the rest of the roll.
Okay, the rest of the roll, in addition to yourself, Beryl, Liz, and Jerry in New York, we have Janice McKinney in Buffalo. Here in Albany, we have Joan Sullivan and Kent Severud, as well as Ken Evans. And then absent today are Adrian Swazerski and Al Carney.
Great, thank you so much. Okay.
Christina Kaufman is also out. I apologize. Christina is also not here.
Okay.
Last minute.
All right. Then let's just get into it. Thanks, Sarah. Behind tab 1 are the minutes of the October 8th board meeting. Could I, if anybody doesn't have questions, could I get a motion to approve?
Sure.
Thank you, Sherry.
Seconded.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Behind tab 2 is the audit committee report. Joan, will you give us the audit committee report, please?
Certainly. The audit committee met today and had multiple purposes. The first was to approve minutes, which we did, to approve charter where there were no changes, which we did. We had KPMG came in and did a presentation of their audit plan for the upcoming audit. And internal control, our internal audit staff, Jenna and Jiawu, gave us an overview of the audit plan with one change with the where the committee approved the change, as well as a current audit. We left the meeting with no requirements for approval from the board. So I turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. I was here for that presentation. Just want to commend everybody on a lot of work from our internal staff led by Jenna, as well as I'm sure Portia having a lot to do with that. And as well as our auditing team, and of course the committee who oversees it all and makes sure it goes smoothly. So thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions about the work of the audit committee? Hearing none, may I ask for a motion to approve? I guess we don't need to approve.
Correct.
We don't need to approve. I'm sorry. So then we'll turn it over to Beryl for the governance committee report.
Thank you, Lisa. Behind tab 3 is the corporate governance report. We met earlier today, and after approving the minutes of the June 25th governance committee meeting, we reviewed the governance committee charter and governance principles. There are no changes recommended for either of these documents, and the review of these items is complete and no full board action is required. There are, however, 2 other documents reviewed by the committee for which full approval and a resolution are required. The first document is the disposition of real property guidelines. The committee has recommended approval in the current form, and the full board must adopt the resolution. Might I also point out that the staff agrees and gives their recommended approval as well. Chair Gomez.
Thank you. So we do have 2 items to approve as the full board. The first one being, as Beryl just described, the disposition of real property. May we have if nobody has questions, may we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Liz. May we have a second?
Sure.
Thank you, Jerry. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Second item that requires full board approval is the mission statement and performance measurements, including performance metrics. The staff, as well as the committee, recommend approval in the current form, but the full board must adopt the resolution. Chair Gomez, would you call for a motion,
I would-
please?
I would be delighted to. Could we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Janice.
Seconded.
Thank you, Liz, to second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No, motion carries. Thank you so much, and thanks as always to the diligent work of the Governance Committee. We will move to Jerry and the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met a few moments ago. We adopted the meeting minutes from the October meeting of Finance. We then advanced and discussed the NICERC offering, and we recommend that that be approved. And we also recommend that the Columbia offering also be approved. Unless anyone has any questions or concerns, that'll conclude my report, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So presenting the first transaction that Jerry just described, the NICERC single approver financing is Steve and co-bond counsels Melissa Bennett and Gabriel Marus. Take it
Thank
away.
you. The board is being asked to adopt the necessary documents for a 25-year fixed and or variable rate tax exempt and or taxable bond issue in an amount not to exceed $17.5 million on behalf of NICERC Inc. NICERC does business as the ARC of New York and is the leading advocate and service provider for the developmentally disabled. Chartered in 1949, NICERC is a not-for-profit corporation that, through its 35 chapters, currently serves over 60,000 people. The programs and services provided by NICERC are state mandated and supported. NICERC has approximately $46 million of bonds outstanding through DASNY across 5 series. The proposed bond issue is expected to finance or refinance approximately 22 projects, including residential, day rehabilitation, clinic, and administrative space for approximately 9 participating chapters. The bonds are anticipated to be rated AA2 by Moody's. And I will now turn it over to Melissa and Gabriel to discuss the documents.
Thanks, Steve, and good morning, DASNY board members and staff. Before the board for consideration are 2 related series resolutions for the issuance of an aggregate amount of up to $17.5 million of bonds under DASNY's NICERC Inc. Revenue Bond Resolution, adopted in March 2009 for the benefit of NICERC. The general resolution authorizes DASNY to issue multiple series of bonds for the benefit of NICERC without limit on amount and with or without credit enhancement. The series resolutions before you contemplate that the proceeds of the 2025 bonds will be used to pay the costs of the financing or refinancing of facilities for use by certain of NICERC's chapters, to fund debt service reserve funds for each series of bonds, and to pay costs of issuance. The series resolutions delegate to authorized officers of DASNY the power, among others, to determine the terms of the bonds subject to certain limitations described in our board letter, and to authorize the entry into a loan agreement or agreements and other customary transaction documents for a negotiated public offering of bonds. Payment of the proposed bonds will be separately secured from series of bonds previously issued under the NICERC General Resolution. The bonds will be special obligations of DASNY, payable solely from the revenues pledged to the bonds, which are primarily payments made by NICERC under its loan agreement, and would also include amounts received from any other security pledged to the payment of the bonds. I'll now turn the presentation over to my co-bond counsel, Gabriel Marus, to discuss the loan agreement and related security.
Thank you, Melissa. Good morning, everyone. The loan agreement will constitute a general obligation of NICERC and required to make payments in amounts and at times sufficient to make timely payments on the bonds. As security for NICERC's obligations under the loan agreement provides that NICERC will grant DASNY a security interest in certain pledged revenues subject to prior pledges. Pledged revenues consist of all public funds, which are primarily payments under contracts with the State Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, payable to each chapter participating in this financing. If a withdrawal is made from either of the debt service reserve funds or a payment default under the loan agreement occurs, the loan agreement will provide for for an intercept of public funds to satisfy NYSARC's payments obligations. Such intercept will be memorialized by one or more agreements amongst DASNY, NYSARC, and one or more state agencies through which NYSARC receives public funds. It is expected that NYSARC's obligations under the loan agreement will also be secured by mortgages on the finance facilities owned by the participating chapters. The bonds are proposed to be sold to Raymond James and Associates on a negotiated basis pursuant to a bond purchase agreement in customary form. This concludes our prepared remarks. We are happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Albany, Buffalo? No? Okay, great. May we have a motion to approve, please?
Certainly.
Thank you, Jerry. Second, thank you, Joan. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving right along to tab number 6, the Columbia University Notice to Proceed resolution for our longtime client. Presenting this is Dave.
Thank you. The board is being asked to adopt a resolution to proceed for a financing in an amount not to exceed $295 million with a term not to exceed 35 years on behalf of Columbia University. Bond proceeds are expected to be used to refinance tax-exempt commercial paper notes issued by DASNY, to finance the costs associated with various construction and renovation projects at the Morningside Heights Medical Center and Manhattanville campuses, and to refund all or portion of the university's 2016 A2 and Series 2016 B bonds. The university is currently rated AAA by Moody's and AAA by S&P, and it's anticipated that the bonds will be an unsecured general obligation of the university. Additional details were provided to the Finance Committee earlier today. We'll be asking the board for a resolution to proceed today, and we expect to come back to the board in December to adopt documents. That concludes my report.
Why wasn't it a single approval?
So we could do it as a single approval. We needed a little more time with the review and the documents. Plus, we're not going to work it until January, so we had some additional time on this one.
Great. Any other questions? May I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Liz. May I have a second? Thank you, Beryl. All in favor of the Columbia transaction?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. Motion carries. Thank you very much. I will turn it over to Robert for tab 7.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. Excited to present this President's Report. We have some significant announcements and accomplishments that we certainly want to share with the board. On the public finance side, we sold last month $1.46 billion in New York State sales tax revenue bonds. The deal was very successful with multiple levels of oversubscription. Its proceeds are used to reimburse the state for expenditures made across multiple agencies and to refund certain outstanding state-supported debt. Of course, we'll provide the details on that, but it was led by Jefferies and Loop Capital Markets and RBC as the senior co-managers. Another transaction that closed was also $45.6 million for the Rockland BOCES. This would support a comprehensive capital improvement in West Nyack. The bonds are going to finance construction of a new 5,200 square foot educational facility to renovate to the existing Jesse Kaplan School. This will also feature culinary arts, commercial kitchens, STEM classrooms, cafeteria, and a gymnasium. Also in the public finance space, we met with the financial partners that work with us on the school districts program. It was the first meeting of its kind, and I think it was very well received in terms of thinking through ideas on how we better reach the 350 school districts across the state. So that, and thus far, We've financed over $10 billion in educational infrastructure since 2002. But we recognize that there are many school districts that still do not participate in the program, even when it is potentially cost advantageous. So we're looking to go out there and have the dialogue with them and remind them of the benefits of our program. Also along those lines, in terms of drawing that connection between the work that we do on the finance side and the construction and how it relates to real community impact. I participated in the ribbon cutting for Mount Sinai's hospital emergency department. Long in the works. We had an opportunity to work with the new, to meet and to participate in this with the new CEO, Dr. Brendan Carr, and comes on the heels of the transaction that we completed for them a few months ago. So continuing to do the good work and demonstrate how our financing really does have impact across the system and how we're able to do that. So moving on to the construction side, we have a number of projects that are currently underway. We visited the OPWDD Finger Lakes facility. It's a $35 million renovation in Rochester, which when completed will transform and create modern accessible residential spaces for individuals with developmental disabilities, featuring person-centered living units, welcoming community spaces, and therapeutic services. It's been a long time since OPWDD has been building these kind of facilities, and can say it would not have been able to move forward if it wasn't for some of the alternative delivery methods that we've been able to use. So that's moving ahead very well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of our other completed projects, which you would appreciate, Jerry. We cut the ribbon at New Paltz Mohawk Hall. We missed you there for the full circle moment, but it's gorgeous, the work that's been done there on time in terms of the turnaround, and opened up in time with fully occupied, I would say, by the school year. So meeting our objectives in that respect. Also, a significant accomplishment is the FIT program building is done. It is exceptional. It was certainly had its moments, and for the amount of time and energy that Dr. Brown spent raising the resources, I am sure that her vision has been realized. The building is appropriately now named the Joyce Brown Academic Center, and really I would encourage everyone to take a peek. I do believe it's architecturally and design wise really an exceptional
Just walk in there
building.
and say, we're like that, or they security throws the hell out.
They won't throw you out. They have a student area and lobby area, so you can at least go there, and we'll certainly arrange for a tour if anybody wants to see it up close. Following on that, another ribbon cutting, and I'm highlighting these because people have to understand, that our construction really does deliver exceptional work for exceptional for CUNY and how it benefits the surrounding community. So I want to just mention Queens College's Gertz Hall, which we completed as well. This was a ribbon cutting 8,200 square foot facility that specialized for speech language pathology graduate program. Now, it is not just the graduate program, they also do clinical work, which means that they see patients and provide these services to members in the surrounding areas. So we have visitors from Long Island, Westchester, including the 5 boroughs, who receive speech pathology services here. And for folks who aren't following this specifically, it really is nationally renowned speech pathology program. So it's good for folks to know that Queens College has excellence around that, and the way that they're providing amazing services.
Gertz, which used to be the Gertz department store in Jamaica.
Yes.
I remember going there with my mother, getting like these vanilla shake things. I think it's now part of York College, actually.
Yes. Excellent. So it's really a wonderful program that extends well beyond the campus.
And my husband was a proud graduate of Queens College. So
They
there
have
you
a
go.
number of distinguished alums. I saw that, including some in entertainment, as well as a number of Congress people. So they've done very well. At
And they
Queens
still,
College.
I mean, the college, it gives a phenomenal education.
Excellent, exceptional.
My father.
Queens, yeah. So
Having its moment, Queens.
Queens is having a moment, for sure.
they're doing very well right now. Moving along in terms of other client engagements, we've met with College Staten Island to see how our projects are moving there. Stony Brook University, we have a number of initiatives, including a P3 conversation that's happening with them, as well as looking at other opportunities for us to work with them on the public finance and the construction side for both the university as well as the medical components for Stony Brook. So building on those partnerships, the client relationship part matters as much as the work that we are doing. And along those lines, we had conversations with our partners at AIAI to talk about alternative delivery and how they could continue to serve DASNY as we roll out these methods on different projects. And our team made a presentation to the New York State City and County Management Association training session where we met with many county executives to talk about potential projects that we can work with at DASNY. To wrap up with grants, HECAP awarded $48 million into 35 institutions in our last meeting and authorized us to move ahead with the next round of HECAP grants. So we're excited about that. Just a reminder, those are for 35 colleges and universities across New York State. We would consider those private institutions, but this provides them important resources to support facility upgrades, modern laboratory and research spaces, and cutting edge instructional technology. So we're glad to move that forward, and we continue to move ahead on the SWIMS and BRICS procurements with more information to come in the next meeting. Employee engagement, because we are our people and our success is only as a result of them and the work that they put in. We had a number of different activities, including recognition for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and coming off the heels of Halloween, folks were energized by that, and looking forward to continuing to do the work that they do here. In your packets, you'll see an update on media coverage, our seeker report, as well as our monthly grant report for your review. That concludes my report.
Well, you all certainly had a busy month, for sure, and it's great to hear all the good news.
We had a very nice retreat. Thank you to our colleague up in Syracuse. What was the house again? Where was it? Forget the name. Yes, so thank you, Ken.
All right, great. Okay, any other questions on the president's report?
Just a note that I saw on the monthly grant report that there was a grant issued to Joyce Theater for the renovation of their theater. Just want to state that Velez is completing that construction work, and it's just noting it, and I'll be sure to talk to Jen about that as well.
Okay. All right, then next, I guess we have Portia and the public finance and portfolio monitoring reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Included in the members' materials are the standard public finance reports. We've had a very busy October. Since the last board meeting, we've priced and closed 4 transactions. AADA, the private placement, which was a structuring. I'll give you a little bit of color in addition to the information that Robert provided earlier. We did price and close a sales tax transaction, 1.46 billion. We actually accelerated that deal into the market rather than pricing over a 2-day period. We priced in 1 day based on good market tone and strong reads from the investors. So it was really a very good result. As Robert said, lots of demand. It was actually 1.9 billion in retail orders, 6.7 billion in institutional orders. We were able to lower yields based on that strength of demand between 4 and 15 basis points. Similarly, we priced the Rockland proceeds on October 22nd. We had a very good, strong demand there as well, 6 times oversubscribed, and we were able to lower yields there between 3 and 9 basis points. On the same day, we priced the Fox Run CCRC. Also, significant demand from big institutional accounts. The 2050 and 2055 term bonds were 10 and 11 times oversubscribed, and we were able to lower the yields there accordingly. So really, all the deals had very, very good results. We were really very pleased with all of them. Just a quick market update. Total year-to-date new issuance volume for 2025 is approximately $538.3 billion, up from last year's comparable volume of approximately $487.3 billion. This week's issuance is expected to total about $9.7 billion. Municipal bond flows saw inflows last week, marking the 11th week of inflows. On Monday, AAA MMD yields were unchanged, with the 10-year and 30-year holding steady at 2.75 and 4.14 respectively. U.S. government bond yields were higher, with the 10-year Treasury yield increasing by 2 basis points to 4.13 and the 30-year increasing by 1 basis point to 4.71. Since the October 8th board meeting, the 1-year MMD rate has increased by 14 basis points. The 10-year has decreased by 16 basis points, and the 30-year has decreased by 7 basis points, reflecting an expectation of the economy slowing down. During that same time period, the 10-year Treasury yield decreased by 1 basis point, and the 30-year decreased by 2 basis points. I did want to just note a few items as far as ratings are concerned. Fitch downgraded St. Joseph's University to BB+ from BBB- based on continued negative operating performance. Moody's upgraded Catholic Health System to B2 from B3 based on improved operating performance, good revenue growth, and some sizable FEMA grants. And lastly, Moody's announced that Garnet Health, formerly that's Orange Regional Medical Center, that potential partnership with Montefiore will have a positive credit impact if it's finalized. So that concludes my report, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Well, a question, has the government shutdown had any impact either on the spread between federal and state bonds or on state bonds alone?
You know, we had really, really good results in the pricings that we saw in October. The last pricing we undertook was on October 22nd. We have not been in the market since then, Beryl.
Okay, just curious. And presumably why the next time we are, government will be reopened.
I think they just voted.
Hopefully the data will be flowing.
I saw something going on, but.
All right, other questions? Albany, Buffalo? Great, okay, busy time. Okay, then next we have Kim and the financial report, tab 9.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As highlighted in your standing financial report, which is as of September, personnel expenses continue to be ahead of projection, primarily due to hiring efforts. Non-personnel expenses are slightly under projection, primarily related to timing of computer services and equipment. We did not have any private debt issuances close in the month of September, so year-to-date financing fees remain at $1.5 million through September, against a total budgeted amount of $1.65 million. The percentage of direct hours charged to public client programs is slightly up from August at 95.5%. against a budget of 94.4% for the year. Brief update on our Dynamics 365 implementation. We are seeing great movement in the project. Training was successfully completed at the end of October. We undertook approximately 2 weeks of training, going over the basic functionality and the customizations and enhancements that HSO developed for the platform. There were a few takeaways from the training, but it mostly related to adjustments to workflows and additional reporting requirements. So we had no showstoppers, and we are moving forward into UAT testing. which is scheduled to start today. And we anticipate that testing phase to go through mid-December, with still anticipated go live in February. Beginning this week, we will begin discussions with HSO with regards to the cutover strategy, which includes outlining when the last transactions will flow to the JD Edwards system in preparation for our final data migration to the production environment. So all is moving well at this point, but we're just getting underway with UAT testing. So hopefully when I report next month, we'll have better news. Yeah.
Is that it?
My report. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I just want to acknowledge the work, Kim, that you and your team have done on this. It's a Herculean task to get this up and running while doing your day jobs. So we heard earlier from the audit committee that there's a very detailed and well thought out plan to capture data from both systems as it will straddle an audit year. None of this happens magically. It happens with the, just dedication of our internal and external teams. So thank you for that.
Great staff.
Yep. Okay. Next up, we have Steve. I guess you're in Albany. I can't see. Oh, yeah, I think I see you at the end. Steve,
Hello.
go ahead on the construction report.
All right. So we have received 6 projects since the last reporting period. 4 for CUNY, 1 for OMH, and 1 for SUNY. The CUNY projects, we have 2 at Baruch, 1 at Hunter, and 1 at John Jay. We have 1 new OMH project at Binghamton Psych Center and 1 new SUNY project at Ulster Community College. The total value of the 6 new projects is $48.1 million. Our expenditures are quite high. For the period ending September of 2024, we were at $437 million. And for the period ending September 2025, we're at $594 million. That's a net gain of $157 million year over year. So the goal of $1 billion in construction expenditures for this fiscal year seems like a reality, if the trend holds true. On the cover of the CD monthly projects report is the Bronx Community College Technology Transportation Building Renovation. The project budget was $8.7 million. DASNY was the CM. Our design completed in April of 2019. The construction completed in September of 2025. This was a renovation of the Patterson Garage. It was not in use at the time. It is now housing the automotive training department for Bronx Community College. It included the construction of classrooms, faculty space, and garage space for mechanic training. The installation of automotive repair equipment included auto lifts, wheel alignment lifts, training modules, and garage bay doors. C of O was obtained, and it is now an active space for the college. A couple updates on programs and projects. CUNY, we met with the Vice Chancellor on November 5th. We covered the forecast gap for Q2. We also conducted our monthly CUNY coordination meeting on November 6th. A couple of highlights in the CUNY program. CUNY brought to DASNY's attention issues associated with progressing design during the design phase of their projects. DASNY is investigating and is recognizing that some projects that we discussed indeed did not progress as per our spend forecast. We are working to remediate that issue. DASNY provided CUNY with a recovery plan for the spend with a goal of catching up with the approximately $30 million spending gap following Q2. And formerly of concern was the percentage of projects being managed by DASNY and CUNY. At this time, we have caught up. DASNY's percentage of new projects across the 2025 CUNY portfolio is approaching 60%, and that was CUNY's goal. I'm going to jump to the DOH Life Sciences project. I visited the site on November 6th, last Thursday. Site work, utility work, and footings and foundation concrete work are all progressing. I attended both an online and an in-person safety orientation. The design build team is staffed up. The trailer complex is nearly complete. It is a very active site at this time. We also conducted a principals meeting on November 4th, and the next principals meeting is scheduled for December 2nd. On the CD recruiting front, we have 18 active recruitments for 30 open positions. The 30 include 14 staff that have been hired who have not yet started at DASNY, 2 candidates with conditional offers, and 14 positions in the posted and interviewing phase. Summer interns, 8 interns remain with the construction division from the prior summer. We have also requested 14 interns for the coming summer of 2026. Upcoming construction division engagements, DASNY staff will be at the SUNY Community College Business Officers Conference this week on November 12th through the 14th. The New York State MWBE Forum, Carrie Torres and staff will be at that. That is scheduled for November 17th and 18th next week. And the AGC conference, DASNY will attend on December 10th and 11th. And lastly, the quarterly construction division directors, chiefs, and senior managers meeting will take place tomorrow, November 13th in New York City. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Steve? Steve, 8 of the how many? What was the denominator on the interns that you retained during the academic year?
I think we had 20. I think we had 20-ish, and 8 are still hanging around.
That's great.
They're not hanging around. They're actually doing very good.
I know. I knew what you meant. Okay, thank you. That's actually great, and I think that's probably a great feeder for your team, particularly in hot construction markets. Well done. Okay, great. So next up is the General Counsel's report from Jen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, included in your materials is a memorandum from Council's office that's intended to serve as an annual reminder of Project Sunlight. Project Sunlight is a public-facing database that public agencies and authorities are required to report substantive contacts with people trying to influence government in specific areas. As the memo lays out, the 5 covered categories are procurement of goods and services, rate making, regulatory matters, judicial, quasi-judicial proceedings, and adoption or repeal of a rule or regulation. At DASNY, as you can imagine, the areas where Project Sunlight is most relevant to our work is the procurement of goods and services and competitively bid grant programs. Monica Norris is the person who receives questions and would verify contacts that need to be reported. So if you have any questions, please reach out to either Monica Norris or myself if you have any questions. That's all I have to report.
Okay.
Anything?
Jen, do we need to do anything on Project Sunlight? I know we have periodic reporting, and if so, would you remind people of the deadline?
Sure. For Project Sunlight, contacts have to be reported within 5 days of the contact. I mean, there isn't really a penalty if it doesn't come after, but generally 5 days is the requirement for any in-person contact on any of the 5 covered categories.
Great.
But
we
other than
also have an annual training, which I think we did this summer. Was that right? Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So if anybody has not, like if you're a new board member, Liz Velez, and you need help with that, reach out to Liz. I'm sorry, Jen.
Thank you. I just completed
All
all
right.
of that.
Yes, there are many trainings but it's important, we are stewards of the public trust.
Is there anything new on the cannabis litigations or anything of any substance, or are we sort of just where we were last session?
No, I don't have anything to report. Thank you.
All right. Any surprise items? Anything anybody want to talk about? Albany Buffalo. Okay, could we have a motion to adjourn? I want to remind folks that the next meeting is December 10th, our last meeting of 2025. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Liz. Second? Thank you, Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? Great. Thank you. We are adjourned.
You.